first talk about the specifications. The processor we're going to get is the AMD Ryzen 3 5300U. It's not the most powerful one, it comes with 4 core and 8 threads. Base frequency with turbo, the 2.6 GHz stable and 3.8 GB with turbo. AMD Ryzen RX Vega 6 and DDR4 3200 MHz dual channel. Nevertheless, the specification list is not the latest out there, but I really wonder how far we can push it and what can we actually play. I think the most appealing thing for me personally is that we're having a different kind of a design. And I mean, particularly when you're looking at the way how they pronounce this, just by having a very cool, like, new way to play. Bring this thing with you with friends, and it comes with a beautiful, tiny, compact design. The power supply is just your typical power supply that you're going to get. This is the 19 volts, 3.42 amps. There's nothing really fancy, just a normal plug. Then in here we're having the system itself with some pretty cool features. There come different kind of colors, and one of them is green, of course, what you see over here. It comes with a tiny display at the front, and the overall construction is quite genius. I've already seen some things. Overall, we're going to get 4 USB ports at the back. We're going to get 2 HDMI out, RJ45 at the back, and the input for the power supply. At the front we're going to get an audio jack Type-C, and we're going to get 2 USB ports. The XR1 Lite comes with the AMD Ryzen 3 mini PC chipset in the inside, 16 GB of RAM, 512 GB PC Express SSD, and of course we can replace it if you want to. But that's not all, let's take a close look at the other compartment, what are we actually going to get. So here we're having the manual. I must say the smallest Ryzen based PC in the world. It's quite a bold statement, but so far I know this is actually true. Let me know in the comments if you have found another one that is basically different and smaller. But here we're going to see the different colors you can get. The Storm White is also very cool, the Battleship Gray. A lot of cool looking different colors. Going to get some stickers, and here the mini desktop PC quick guide. Let's see, here we're going to get a filter, and the filter that we're going to basically place in here for getting the dust out. It's quite interesting that they give you this. And here we're going to get ourselves all the other information. There's a foldable manual. I really hate these things, by the way. But just and give you a quick explanation how you need to connect everything. What is kind of cool, you're going to get actually a very nice looking HDMI cable with this. Man, look at this. But what is a really cool novelty, at the front we're going to get a very tiny display that will showcase the fan speed, but also the temperature itself. I'm particularly going to use this thing for indie games and just for party games. One of the old ones is Blaze Rush, and this game runs of course without any problem on even a lower powered AMD Ryzen chipset. And this game, oh boy, I can tell you, this is a lot of fun. Next up, of course, Sonic Mania, another game that is not super demanding, but just wanted to check out how great or bad it will run on this mini PC. Fun cooperative game is one of those games like Hunt Down. You can just enjoy them together with a friend, old school like back in the 90s. And of course this game is like Sonic Mania, Street of Rage 4 and many other great titles. They run just fine on this. Thus in my opinion this thing is great for mini games.
Watch out! Bounty on us!
Come here, I'll show you.
Flawless execution.
So okay, when it comes to, let's say, old school AAA games, let's say in Street Fighter 4 I still love to play. These games will run absolutely great on 1080p and everything set to the highest setting. And I think when you're loving like me the old fighting games or other games, they will run absolutely amazing even on a low spec AMD Ryzen chipset.
Show me everything you have to offer.
Are you ready? Fight!
Sonic Boom! Do not hesitate. Sonic Boom! Super fight.
But if you're going to get in the latest games, there we're going to have a lot of trouble. You need to get it to very low settings, otherwise you're not going to get playable situations. And in my opinion, that is quite fortunate if you love to play an adventure game like Crash Bandicoot the Trilogy. So low resolution, everything put to low, you're still going to get not very long loading times and also an overall performance that is still playable, between 50 and 60 FPS. But let's get into some emulation, and when it comes to the old school stuff all the way up to Sega Saturn, it's no problem whatsoever, where I want to focus on some systems like PlayStation 2 to begin with. And I can tell you, even on a low spec system like this, it runs pretty damn great.
Here we go.
Round 1. Fight.
With PlayStation Portable and the PP SSPP emulator, I needed to mess around with it. I couldn't get this thing to run on full resolution, or in other words, like 10 times resolution, like we have seen with some of the systems that were reviewed here on the channel. Due of like the lack of power, we need to scale it all the way back to 6 times. We have some dips with some cutscenes, but beside that, we did have a very good overall playable gameplay.
You're mine.
1080p, I just wanted to see about how we can play some Xbox Classic, but I think when you're looking in the era of PlayStation 2, Xbox Classic, GameCube, you were going to have amazing performance even on this low power chip. And that's, I think, very surprising, and especially because this thing is so small, it's going to be absolutely great. I think when you're looking at the construction of this mini PC, that is absolutely an awesome piece of engineering. First of all, think about it, this is one of the tiniest AMD mini PCs I ever had here in the Wicked Studio. Overall, when you're looking at the design, this thing does have a very dark secret. A couple of basically, but yeah, let's just open it up and I will show you what I mean. So first of all, the design, you can just slide it out fairly easy. And when you're looking at it, the way how they produce this is absolutely stunning. Like the two PCBs at the side, we're going to get ourselves the LEDs or lighting up the side. But here we're going to get at the bottom the Wi-Fi controller. But the problem with this device is if you need to swap out the SSD. There we're going to have absolutely a lot of freaking shenanigans to get there. Because that is the nightmare of this thing. Where a lot of, let's say, mini PCs, you can just open it up fairly easy. But that is not the case over here. Everything has been attached with a couple of screws and 4 ribbon cables, because there are 2 layers of main board. The first layer at the top is going to get ourselves the CPU-GPU combination with a huge cooling. But at the bottom plate, there we're going to get all the other connections. And both of the PCBs are connected with these ribbon cables. So you need to get all of the freaking ribbon cables loose, then we're going to get basically disassembly of the system itself.